hmm
You hit a good one on there. But I want to come back to something real quick because I know it's been pressing for my real estate teams and people that are struggling to grow. They get maybe some great young agents under there, but what they're really having trouble with is finding that awesome admin, that awesome somebody. You mentioned before about having a great team surrounding you, and obviously that goes with title and mortgage and everything, and attorneys too. But more so that team at home. How do you find that great admin? What have you done? What maybe mistake did you make to bring somebody better on, for the future?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty blessed that Lucy's been with me 20, I think it's her 20th year.
Oh, wow.
Sandy, who does our some marketing and our enters our properties into MLS and kind of makes them look pretty. She's been with me 23 years.
Hmm.
So that's the core part right there. I some positions you have turnover because my listing manager position has turned over quite a bit. It's been a struggle, but I think and I think that some of the positions people just grow out of.
Yeah.
And then especially in real estate, if you're an hourly person and you used to talk to some agents who you don't feel are super sharp on the phone, and some of these people are making a lot more money than you are as an admin,
Hmm.
and then you get to the business. So you have that challenge as well. But you got to make sure you hire somebody who has characteristics that you don't have that are
Right.
going to help you.
Okay.
Like Lucy's super analytical. Okay, I'm a driver, so we're a good mix.
Yeah.
You got to know. It's just like in sales, you got to figure somebody out right away,
Hmm.
figure out what their strengths are, and they have to be able to change.
Yes.
So, and she's my work wife, so we always joke around with that. But I'm lucky I haven't had a ton of turnover, and that can really be set you back when you're building a team. But a couple things: you got to treat them great.
Yeah.
Okay, if you tell them it's good, you got to pay them right. And the one thing that I try and do, and I get yelled at a little bit at home, is you gotta, they almost feel like they're part of a family, or like we're like a tight knit family. I mean, we go through great times and we have bad times, but it's more important to be there when someone's struggling.
Hmm.
Okay, because you always got to, and with people who work for you and clients, you need to build loyalty. Okay, they need to know how much you care.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one thing that'll keep good people on. And sometimes you just feel like you're painted in a corner with somebody because you're just afraid to let go,
Right.
and you're nauseous at work because you can't stand being in the same room with them. You gotta let them go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. You mentioned a really good point there.
everybody's replaceable.
Yeah, another struggle that some of my young teams have had, or even just people over the course, of their career, where they bring on people, and like you said, you give your heart, your sweat, your tears, you help them out, maybe even tough personal situations, and then one day they say, "Hey, you know what, Mark? I'm gonna go try it on my own," and I can imagine that first thing that you might get is like, "I've done so much for you. How could you?" And but I think at the same time too, that's the part where you say, okay, go, do your thing.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, there's right ways and wrong ways to lead businesses, to
correct.
whatever, and that's in a whole nother conversation. But what I'm really referring to are those people that, like you said, they just grow. They grow out of their position and they want to spread their wings. What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur, whether it's real estate or not, that might have just lost somebody? What would you say?
You know, so I wanted to go back to one thing before is I tell my agents in our sales meetings probably once a quarter. Okay, if you are going to depend on me to give you all your business, and
Hmm.
I have not taught you how to create your own business, I have failed as the team leader.
Right.
Okay, so if you're going to sit here and just constantly wait for me to hand out leads and not be able to generate your own, we're doing something wrong. So
Yeah.
they know I care to that level. So it's some people think that's fine. And if you want to do that, that's okay. But
Yeah.
So, when you lose somebody, and I as an employer, when you lose an employee who was a key person, and I've been through this a couple times with friends of mine who were really down. I'm
Mhm.
like, look, you won't realize it for about 6, 8 months, but it's the best thing that ever happened to you
Mm.
because you're very lazy sometimes. Starting over, yeah, you got to spend time in training, okay? But there's probably someone who really wants that position, really wants to learn, and really wants to make you happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to happen. It's an evolution of what's going to go on out there. And you just got to embrace it, and you got to go home that night, have your couple drinks, sulk a little bit, and you come back in the office because at the end of the day, as a leader,
Mhm.
you need to know how to do everything anyway.
Right. You already have the
So
tools.
yeah, you got to know how to do it. So, and everybody in your office should be interchangeable.
Right.
So if someone's out, you need to have those pieces. They got to learn everything. So when
Mhm.
Lucy goes away on vacation, I always tease her. I'll be like, "How was it?" I'm like, "Oh, I played golf this day, that day." Like, no big deal. She gets so mad at me. I'm like, "Smooth, great,"
Right. Oh yeah.
So, but everybody's replaceable, So you always have to think about that. And I read a couple articles recently is we will probably have the best talent out there in the real estate for real estate professionals that we've ever seen with this pandemic. Because a lot of people always think, I want to get into real estate, I want to get real estate.
Yeah.
Job loss, they got some money put away. Like, now's my shot. You can find some really good people out there
Mhm.
who might really help you moving forward to build that team to make it grow.